Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name's Alicia and I wanted to share some tips and tricks, things I use with my son with autism when homeschooling him. I'm in my 4th year of teaching and I'm a school teacher with a certified license to teach, and I'm also a special education teacher, and this year's my 4th year teaching special education. This year I'm only working part-time so that I can stay home with my son Luke for the other half of the time. One of the first things that we worked out that works for Luke when we are doing stuff at home is I bought one of these trifold office boards. I originally actually purchased it to create like a calendar and counting and things that we could do daily as activities together and have them posted on here that I can fold and store easily in our house. But it actually ended up being a buffer for Luke to create less stimulus when he's working, and we've started using it every day for the last few months. Behind it is a china cabinet, and he would just start dazing off into space kind of and get distracted from what he was doing, so this really helped. And when I mentioned it to my husband, he's like, well, in a lot of offices, people use cubicles the same way. And I know in a lot of special education classrooms, they'll also have desks with walls up above them like this, and I open up the sides of the walls sometimes a little bit more, and I'll sit right next to him. Sometimes if he needs some space, I'll go to the other side. Sometimes when he's reading, that's really helpful. If he doesn't see me, then he's not trying to rely on me for help, and he'll do what he can really do. The second thing that's very helpful for us is creating a list. So every single thing we're doing for that day is on a list, and he gets to check it out, check it off. For the last month or so, well, I'd say more like 2 or 3 months, there's a game in the middle as a break, and he's able to change this to something he wants. Yesterday, he changed this to being reading a story together of his choice. It's a way to have a built-in break for him, but games are also great for social emotional behavioral, as like a social interaction where he's taking turns. He has to talk to the other person, which is normally me. Morning work, I usually fill in with anything that works for him. Today we're going to do SEB, which means social emotional behavioral lesson, and I'll do a video on what I teach him for that. For autism, it's extremely important that you're teaching something to children that tunes into them bringing social awareness to themselves and giving them skills and tools. Sometimes when Luke has a list, he will write what he's working towards at the end, so when he's done with all of these things, he will get to go on the computer to do Noah's Ark. That's what he chose in July. As you can see, the list that we have here is pretty long. It took me a few months to have him built up to doing this many activities at once. When we started working together, it was only like 4 activities, and I didn't build in a break because he was needing a break in between each of these. I've also changed my style. I used to say we have to do this for 20 minutes, this for 20 minutes, this for 20 minutes, and this for 20 minutes, and I would set a timer. But then things would arise where we were done with an activity and he had more time left over and I had to fill it in. Now it's just as he completes something, there's no timer being used anymore. Using a timer is a great strategy for kids with autism, but in this case it didn't work for Luke, so I changed it as we moved on. Here he's was working for Zoo Tycoon, so in July, it is now February, so it's not February, it is September. July, August, September. So 2 months ago, we are only working on 4 activities, and that was taking us a few hours, not because he couldn't do it. And we started with 3, and then I gradually brought on more activities for him to gradually go into having a longer list. And as you see, I gradually started making it longer. Now that he is going to school for speech therapy and occupational therapy, we have a busy schedule some days, so he'll have less work he's doing. Friday, I'm home all day, so that's his longest schedule is Fridays. Wednesday, he does have therapy. We did do this activity, he just didn't check it off. He's not always writing a goal because he doesn't always need it. Tuesdays is a day where we have a lot more time, so he has a longer list. But on Fridays, he is able to go through this all in about 2 to 2.5 hours at the most. And he'll sit down and not need any breaks but these to get all that work done for me. So normally, always we're doing a reading lesson, a math lesson of some sort every day. Usually there's something writing related, whether it has to do with our theme. Right now we're working on the United States, and his topic right now is the Liberty Bell. Right now I'm off topic. Just the strategy is the list. Also bubblegum. Bubblegum, I noticed he was doing a lot with his mouth and making little noises and humming, maybe trying to put paper in his mouth or chew on a pencil. Giving him gum at the beginning of each school day helps him with a sensory input in his mouth, I guess you would say, and that's been extremely helpful. And then it's also rewarding to him now to get him to sit down and start his list. Right now I have no problem with him getting to start or finish, but a few months ago I was having a lot of behaviors for every single thing I was asking him to do. So back then I was using lots of M&Ms. Now I pull out M&Ms, maybe 2 to 3 M&Ms per lesson. Not per lesson, per day that we sit down and work together. Before, oh, this bag isn't open, but if it was open, I would grab some out. Before, I would have, you can do problems 1, 2, 3, and then you'll earn 5 M&Ms, and I would put the M&Ms there. And we had to do that. It might not be 5. It might be at the end of the page you would earn 5. Or there's 1, 2, 3 problems. You'll get 3 M&Ms when you're done with this row. Or something like on this page, it might be once you do the amount I circled, you get a certain amount of M&Ms.
For me?
Yes, the M&Ms are for you for later, Luke. I'm making a video for YouTube. I'll talk to you about the M&Ms in a minute. Yeah, I'll talk to you about the M&Ms in a minute. So that was really helpful. Now I would say I really don't even need them, but I was constantly relying on rewarding him with the M&M for his behavior. I know some people are against using food as a reward because kids will learn to associate if I do something good, I need to feed myself. But I was really only using it for about a month or so I'm not too worried about it. We're really open with our son being able to eat what he wants, and we're not picky or strict on sweets too much, and that's just our personal belief. Because we're hoping if we don't restrict him now, when he's older, he won't feel the need to go crazy when he's old enough to buy everything on his own to eat sweets. But that's just what we do. Also, one thing is just having a numbers printed out for him. He was reversing a lot of numbers, and this is just a visual model for him of those numbers, and he'll now use it to self-correct himself. So that's been really helpful for him as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope something on here might help you. Everything I've done can be modified to fit the need of your child. Your student might be motivated, or your child might be motivated by stickers, so instead of M&Ms, you could give them a sticker on a chart.
And for me!
Is the M&Ms for you? And for every kid, it's different. I started a prize box. He didn't like it. I created alternate seating arrangements with little tabletop desks for him to do work at. That didn't work. We've kind of just figured out what works for him. We're not needing those for a reward. That's why they're not even open yet, and I've had these for maybe 2 weeks almost now. We do need to buy more bubble gum. The only problem with the bubble gum is when reading time comes, I can't hear him. His speech isn't very clear, so when he has that in his mouth, it makes me upset because I can't hear if he's reading correct or not. So he's getting used to just putting his gum blob on a sheet of paper, a little sticky note while we are doing when we are doing reading time. And schedules can be changed drastically. As you saw earlier, he only had 3 things on his. You could just start by having a little visual card for your child with autism that says we're going to do reading first, then we're going to take a break. A lot of kids with autism will need one thing at a time, and then they'll need a sensory break. When I first started working with my son at home, I was giving him breaks constantly. When his behavior was a little wild and he couldn't sit down, I was like, it's your turn to go take a break in your room. And I would give him 15 minutes at a timer, and then we'd come back. We've gradually built up to this by rewarding the correct behavior. He's getting positive reinforcement, high fives, hugs, kisses, M&Ms, and then he gets whatever he wants to work towards. So, there we were writing about eagles, but he has that reward sometimes that he writes at the bottom of his page that he's working towards as well. So that day I was sick, so I wrote that. I'm working for Zoo Tycoon, which is a game on the computer, so he's getting rewarded with this, and then as well as each lesson he's doing with me, he was getting M&Ms or high fives, hugs. Eventually the goal is that you want the child to feel just satisfied on the inside for what they're doing and be proud of themselves, which is what we're stepping away from the tangible, and it's only been a few months, so that's important as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope there was something helpful for everyone that is working with a child with autism or working at home with a child with autism. And I know every child with autism varies in what they need, but I hope this was helpful for someone. Thank you. Bye.